Hello, in this video, I'm going to talk about dependency injection and inversion of control. In my earlier videos, I talked about design pattern and software design principles. The dependency injection and inversion of control are few of the important concepts in object-oriented programming, and they are used in various design patterns and integrated with other design patterns to build a software solution architecture which is very loosely coupling and easy to maintain. So, what is dependency injection? It is a design pattern in object-oriented programming where an object receives its dependent object rather than creating them itself. I will show a brief implementation that I used to describe about repository design pattern in my earlier videos. So I will show you how dependency injection and inversion of control are being used in that solution. So there are a few types of dependency injection: constructor injection, property injection, and interface injection. The mostly used dependency injection type is basically constructor injection. So others also uses property injection as well as interface injection along with the constructor injection as well. What is inversion of control? IoC. It is a design principle. Basically, dependency injection is one specific implementation of IoC. Dependency injection pattern archives IoC specifically by handling how an object obtains its dependencies. Dependency injection is the most common way to implement inversion of control in IOP. Inversion of control uses various third-party libraries or frameworks to implement inversion of control. And other ways to implement inversion of control are the service locator pattern, event-driven programs, template method pattern. I will discuss about other ways in my other videos, but in this video I will stick to dependency injection and inversion of control. Now I will show how we can implement dependency injection and how IoC container can implement DI, the dependency injection. So I will go through the dependency injection and IoC part of this application. I have discussed about this solution architecture in one of my earlier videos, which was made regarding repository pattern. To discuss dependency injection, I will show you API controller and bootstrapper and service class. Here I have few API controllers for dependency injection. As an example, I have picked rule API controller. So rule API controller, here it is using constructor injection. So how constructor injection is being used? Here the rule API controller have a constructor, and this constructor is accepting an argument of ISP rule service, which is an interface, and this interface is containing few methods like get rules, update rules, delete rule, and other methods. And I have declared a private variable which is assigned with the ISP rule service parameter, and this rule service object can be used to call the get rules method, which is inside the ISP rule service, which is implementing the ISP rules service. So here, instead of ISP rule service, I can pass the ISP rule service class and assign it to the rule service interface object, because since ASP rule service is implementing the ISP rule service, so I can pass the ASP rule service as well to assign the class to the implemented interface object. But I have injected the interface here because this is the constructor injection, as I have mentioned earlier. I have injected the interface in this private method because in my IoC configuration, inversion of control configuration, I have used if I go to global ASX, it is the application start method, which will start when I run the application. And in the run method, I have used O2FAC, which is an IoC container framework. It implements it helps to implement a dependency injection, and we can configure the dependency injection assembly using the AutoFact container. Here I have for the services, we see that the build we have created a builder, container builder, and we have registered assembly types like register service, ASP rule service, and appointment service. Here for the ASP rule service, we see that it will implement as interface dot as implemented interface dot instance request. So here it is saying that we can inject interface, interface to our object. So since it has mentioned that dot as implemented interfaces, so this is how we can configure AutoFact IoC container to implement dependency injection. Since it has mentioned as implemented interfaces here, so in the API controller, instead of a class ASP rule service class, I can use, and I have used the interface to this interface object. So this is the injection, dependency injection, and this is the constructor injection. And in the ASP rule service, there is also dependency injection as well. For the here we have implemented interface injection there, because we have IASP rule repository interface, which actually implemented by ASP rule repository class, and here we have accepted parameter IASP rule repository, and this ASP rule repository is assigned to the IASP rule repository interface object. And since this is read only, we cannot actually assign this ASP rule repository in other methods. Read only property can only be assigned inside the constructor. And this is the interface injection type. And if you see my earlier videos regarding the scope substitution principle, we state that the base class can be replaced with a subclass object and behavior will not change. So this interface injection is obeying the scope substitution principle. And another sample, we can use the property injection as well. Here I have an IDB factory interface which is implemented by DB factory class, so I can assign this since we have implemented the IDB factory from the DB factory, so DB factory can be assigned to the IDB factory. And in the ASP rule repository, this is a property, private property. Since it is read only, we cannot assign in other method except constructor. So if I remove the read only, we can assign this property, and this property can be assigned using new ASP rule repository, and ASP rule repository has a constructor which accepting the IDB, the IDB factory interface here. So this is the property injection, and later we can use the ASP rules repository to call the methods of the ASP rule repository class. So I will not use this property injection here, so I will comment it out. I hope you understand what is the dependency injection and what is inversion of control IoC container, and how dependency injection and IoC container are used with various design patterns to prepare a loosely coupled software solution architecture.